What's up, guys? Mike here, another episode of Boost Brothers Garage. Today, we're diving a little further into my hybrid stroker build for my 1986 Porsche 944 Turbo. In the last video, we went over checking the bore of the cylinders, the outside diameter of the pistons, getting cylinder wall clearance, etc. So one of the things that you guys had mentioned in the last video, you had commented, where you were asking about the block filler on this engine, and it's something that the creators of this combination decided was a good idea to fill this block to try to help stabilize the cylinders, since it's an open deck block. By open deck, I mean there's space all around the cylinders here at the top. So what we do is fill the block with, this is Moroso block filler, and it's almost like a mortar, almost like thin set you would use to lay tile in your house. It's almost like concrete. And by filling it about halfway, we are strengthening the block pretty significantly and hopefully not having any detrimental effects on cooling. And speaking of cooling, typically you would ask a machine shop to do this, which is exactly what I did, but my machine shop wasn't really comfortable with doing the block filler on this motor, and that's because of where the water pump holes are, here and here, which the block filler actually sits above this bottom hole. So it's kind of a pain, but you have to actually shove paper towels down here in between the block and this #1 cylinder to create a space so that water can still get to and from that water pump hole. So that's what I did. I shoved just standard blue shop paper towels in there, filled it, tapped it with a rubber mallet for a while to get any of the air bubbles out, let it sit overnight, and then the next day I came in and pulled those paper towels out. So, beyond that, since the last time we filmed, we've done a little bit of work. We have actually assembled all of the pistons to the connecting rods. And if you notice in here, in order to do so, there are what they call spiral locks. And spiral locks, which I'll show a little bit better picture of, one not installed, are a complete pain in the ass to put in. It was not fun at all, but it's done. They're doubled up on each side of the piston pin, so there's actually 4 per piston. So these are all assembled now, ready to go. We used assembly lube on the piston pins. In our next episode, we'll be file fitting our piston rings and hopefully starting to actually assemble everything. On top of that, we also went ahead and installed the main girdle and the main bearings. We torqued this to spec, and we used our telescoping bore gauge, just like in the last video, to measure the inside bore of these main bearings. We're doing that to get our oil clearances to make sure that they're within spec. The other piece of that puzzle is measuring the crankshaft itself. So we take a micrometer, and once again we are measuring the outside diameter of the journals here. We measure the main journals as well as the rod journals. We take these measurements, and we also take measurements from within the big end of the connecting rod with the bearing end and torque to spec. We take all those measurements, and then we know our oil clearances, and luckily we're spot on with everything. So we're ready to move forward with that as well. So that's about it. We didn't get a ton of stuff done, but I wanted to give you guys an update. Like I said, the next video will be starting to put stuff together, and shortly thereafter, we're also going to be bringing back the Cayman to have some content there, including the clutch and ASCO lightweight flywheel, as well as doing the exhaust. So stick around for that. If you have any more questions or comments, please leave them below. It was great hearing from you guys. We appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.